Hi guys, Joe here with Thank You Link, and I've got another quick update for Super Chef. If you guys haven't heard, I've started to work on Set 2 for Super Chef. It won't be as big as Set 1, though to be fair, Set 1 isn't even that big of a set for a card game. There's going to be many new things, like new options for decks, and just a lot of cool new stuff that I'm excited to get to. I can't wait to start showing it off, which I'll show off a lot more than I did with Set 1 of Super Chef. In fact, at the end of the video, I'll give a sneak peek at some of the Set 2 cards. I was looking at the cards for Super Chef, and there were a few things that I wanted to change. This update is very minor overall, not a lot of important major changes, except for a few cards. This all stemmed from Dine and Dash. I noticed that his flavor text was the exact same as Sports Fan. I had forgotten to change it. I don't know how I managed to go this long without noticing it, but I eventually did, and I did change it. So now he's got unique flavor text. And it all started with Dine and Dash, and I kind of just looked through all the other cards, being like, okay, let's do one last look through for Super Chef. So I'll quickly go over cards that received actual changes, starting with Pineapple Rings. Its ability has been completely reworked. It now works like the soup cards. You can send a food with the breakfast type from the table to your waste pile to play this card for free. And then when played, it swaps the current values of this food and another food. So now its ability activates when it's played, so it'll always go off, and there's a way for it to be played for free. So it's just a very different card now, just playing it with the whole when drawn through an ability. Just it was really complicated and just complex, and just it was a lot. So I've simplified it and just made it easier to use. It might be too strong now, I don't care. The next time I touch this card, it'll be on a ban list. Then we have Ice Water. I reworked its ability because it just didn't seem all that good and just a little more complicated than I wanted it to be. Now its ability activates at the end of the round before you calculate your food values for customers, and then you get to swap this with any other food card from your waste pile. So this is still going to be a niche card, but now I think it'll be easier to use. Chicken Noodle Soup has always been a bit of a weird card. I love Chicken Noodle Soup in real life. It kind of sucked though that the card was never really good, so I reworked its ability that now at the end of the turn it increases the dollar value of the customer it's played to by 1. So now this is a food card with kind of a high risk, high reward. If you lose the customer it's played to, you're going to be losing out on extra dollar value. So you want to be mindful where you play Chicken Noodle Soup. But it's got a much better ability now. I've added an ability where it now gives main primary type foods in its lane 2 value. Steak Fries, Soda, and Delivery Driver all had very similar abilities. Steak Fries was the weakest out of the 3. Its ability was a lot more niche and harder to get off and utilize effectively. Now the rest of these cards are not nearly as important. Pork Ribs and Double Decker Club, same ability, it's been shifted around a little bit. So now it should be easier to understand how these cards work. Curly Fry Basket, well, if you noticed, it now says Curly Fry Basket for its name. Me and Devin constantly call it Curly Fry Basket, so I just decided to give it Curly Fry Basket as a name. I've said Curly Fry Basket a lot, and so yeah, it also just kind of spices up the names instead of just having either single word or double words. More triple words the merrier. Now, if you want a deeper dive into some of the thought process behind these changes, or just to see all the changes in general, I have added the redesign notes into the tabletop version. This note was already in the printed play, but now it's in the tabletop version for easier access and use. The rulebook has also seen some changes. I've moved around the table of contents a little bit, shrunk down the alternative game modes, no longer telling you all of the alternative game mode types and where they're located. Just knowing where they start is more than enough. I've added a 2-page layout for the multiplayer and team game modes. I plan to make a specific workshop table for those game modes. but right now I do not have them, so if you want to play them, you would have to kind of make it yourself. But now there's an official layout inside of the rulebook to kind of help visualize how you would play this, how to play with either 3 or 4 people or team games. I added an additional credit to gamesicon.net for all the icons which I used for the customer cards. I can't believe I forgot to add that credit. Like, it's something that's so obvious, you think like, oh, I already added that, so I don't need to worry about that. But no, I didn't have it, so I put it in there. I'm so sorry about that. That should have been in the day one that I had the rulebook, but just oversight on my part. And then I actually redid the quick play back page here. I got rid of the setup page, fixed up the page numbers because they were off. Totally didn't even realize that. Did some minor, tweaking to what it says in each one, and then added the primary second type chart down here for just a little bit easier visual use. Not sure if this is an amazing quick play guide. It's a lot of text and it's not as condensed, but I think it's I think it's just really helpful. Like, it tells you all the information you need. You could really read this back page and know how to play the game almost. Like, Super Chef's really not that complex of a game. So I think it'll be fine for now. If I feel like changing it, I might change it here sometime in the future again. So that is update 5 for Super Chef. So that's all I have for this update for Super Chef. Again, kind of a quick minor one. Just a few things that I noticed and wanted to change and add and kind of set up for set 2. Speaking of set 2, here are a couple of cards that I finished for the set. Not going too in depth, the focus of set 2 is going to be expanding playstyles, giving you more options for decks, more ways to play, and more synergies to play around with. Because base game really only has the 3 archetypes: vegetable, spicy alcohol, and breakfast. If you're not playing one of those 3 decks, you're playing a gimmick deck, really. So the plan with set 2 is to kind of expand your options a little bit more. Probably nothing to the level of the 3 core archetypes, unfortunately, but I will be adding a new archetype. You guys will just have to wait and see. I'm sure you might be able to guess with these few cards. And, somewhere on the card it pretty much tells you what the new archetype will be, but I'll keep it a secret for now until I have some of their cards finished. So look forward to seeing more of set 2 for Super Chef. I hope you guys enjoyed and are looking forward to what's to come. See you guys next time. Bye!